it's Leela, the proud Poly Kinky Queer Slut. Today's question is, how can I be anti-racist? I think that there are a few really good steps that we can take to just start the process of fighting racism. And I'm going to just outline them for you. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, um, but it's hard. It's really, really, really hard. And right now, I mean, especially, as my friends are feeling attacked by all of this anti-trans legislation, all of the anti-gay rhetoric, things being scrubbed from textbooks, that is nothing compared to people who are afraid of being rounded up and deported. I mean, frankly, it's terrifying what's happening right now. And all the more reason why I think we just need to stand up and stand together. And as a white woman, I feel like I really need to take responsibility for speaking out against people who are like me, who are saying and doing things that I frankly disagree with and think are bad for our society. So things that you can do to be anti-racist. So not just not racist, but like actively fight racism. The first is acknowledge white culture. So what I mean by that is that we are, as white people in America, especially I was raised in the 80s and 90s, 20th century, there's this idea that my culture is just American culture. And you see this with the MAGA people too, like where Make America Great Again. They're looking at white culture as American culture. And I think it's important to acknowledge that that is just the culture of people who are white and the dominant culture. And I'm certainly all the cultural things, like a person can absolutely be raised in a culture that is not the color of their skin. But as an overarching kind of generalization, the thing that we think of as like the normal culture is not just normal culture, it's white culture. And there are a few things in white culture that make it easier for racist policies and racist ideas to survive. And I think that it's important that we take responsibility for those parts of our culture and actively work to change them, actively work to progress our culture in a better direction. So specifically, this whole idea that if somebody says something that is not your problem, that you should stay out of it. We are conflict diverse. We're taught to be conflict diverse, and to be quiet, to be respectful, to that's just them, that's just their thing. If they're not hurting you, don't get in the way. I am not advocating violence, but I am advocating speak up and voice when somebody says something that you disagree with. I'm going to take this a step further, and I know this is very, very challenging for us, but when it comes to whatever it is, whether it's sexual identity, race, gender, whenever somebody voices an idea that is bigoted, that is racist, that is sexist, that is perpetrating unconscious bias, especially if they're in your family, and this is what makes it hard, especially if they're in your family, say something. You're not going to change the mind of that person most likely, but again, you're going to make it so that the tone of the conversation changes. And we're terrified to do this because we are taught to fear conflict. We are taught to fear rejection and being kicked out and being disowned and ostracized. And a lot of us queerdos are different anyway and already feel separate from our families. But it is a lot easier for us to say that than for the people who aren't even hearing it, who are the victims of that unconscious bias. And frankly, I think that we need a Thanksgiving table revolution in this country, and a family person to person change where we take the reins as the leaders of our families, as voices at the table who have equal weight to grandpa saying something racist. Should be, us saying, you know what, I disagree with you respectfully. You don't need to be a jerk about it, but respectfully saying, I think I disagree with your opinion. I think that your opinion may come from being influenced by some ideas that are, frankly, tinged with racism or racist or coming from a place of bias. And I think that we need to consider that we should maybe change how we look at these things and think about these things. It needs to be part of the dialogue. And frankly, I think that we as white people, we as people in white culture, need to take more risks and be the person who takes that risk for others and takes that risk when white people are the only people in the room. It's scary. Yeah, it makes you have all the fear responses, but most of the time, nothing really bad happens. Most of the time, everything turns out just fine. And frankly, if it doesn't, if your family really is such that they're going to, disown you over something like that, I mean, that's a highly personal choice, but it's something where you need to consider the realities of what you're supporting by being a part of that. I had to do that very, very much, and it was hard, and it hurt, but I am glad for it, and I would do it again every day. So not trying to tell anybody what to do, but just food for thought. I find that it makes a lot of difference when you can really have that fear, push through that fear, and own it, and know that you're doing something to fight, really, to fight bias, to fight racism, to fight all the bigotry and fear that's out there, just by being present and by speaking up. And it's not fair to expect that all of those voices are going to be the people who are suffering the oppression. The people who are not suffering oppression, people who are safer in this space, I really think that we should take it on ourselves to step up and do more. So that's what I think is the core of being anti-racist. I also really think that it's time that we listen to Black voices, we listen to Latinx voices. Just when people are brave enough to put their stuff out there, pay attention. It really helps, I think. And speak from what you know, speak from your own journey. But the important thing is speak, be present, let what you are show. It makes a difference. So thank you very much for listening. I think that's how you be anti-racist. This is Leela, the proud Poly Kinky Queer Slut. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, you can ask me anything.